Good evening, everybody. Peace and love and Yahoo. Everything is wonderful. With the divine masculine, that will be the next big thing, and we are here at it now. Um, so, saying with the divine feminine has been leading the ascension, and hi everyone, and thank you for joining. Uh, But as I said before, it's only so far ahead that the divine feminine can go before the divine masculine must take up the rear, take up the tail end of it. Now, with the divine feminine, even though they were suppressed severely, and it was rather a little bit quicker for them to rise because of the unconditional love that the matriarch has within. And that is the most valuable component as well with this ascension and any spiritual beliefs that raises you up. So, having said that, that's why the feminine led the charge because of having a pretty beautiful, strong, unconditional love because it's been imprinted there through not only instinctual means, but throughout society in the energetic threads and histories. And very simply, unconditional love is a love that is found within the feminine and the matriarch in childbearing and caring. And it's a very special, it's a very strong bond. And the feminine retained a lot of that because of the way society was structured. And society was structured in the patriarchal way where the man went out to work and the mom would stay home and take care of the children. But what has transpired over the course of time and what is so important with this ascension right at this time, we have brought an appreciative amount of the masculine has lifted upward. But because of the societal restraints that are upon the masculine, it makes it difficult at this point to get that broken. So, and this is our next task in this ascension, and we do need at this point uh, perhaps a strong focus put towards the masculine. So, generally speaking, that's the areas that I suggest for all teachers, everyone, even individuals, to focus upon. And the main thing is to look at the societal expectations and restraints that was put on the masculine. Being the provider and the protector, and in society a lot of that is still intact. But what it's doing, it's keeping the masculine in a loop, a robotic loop, if you will, in a cycle, going to work, coming home, uh, dropping off the money to the family, going back to work. No time for the masculine to do their inner work and be alone to the degree that they need to be. And when you have things like wage disparity, and when you have middle, upper, and lower classes in your society, what will occur is that on the lower levels of the society, the masculine has a very hard time in working to because of the way society's set up to even survive. Most of their time is put towards surviving, and also because of that tension in those areas and stress that's accompanied with it, there is alcoholism, drug addiction. There's so many of those things that they reach towards to assist them with providing for their families. But it's also like from the masculine, they feel like a slave to that, and they are entrapped to that sort of a society where, the weight is always on, usually always on their side, on their shoulders, as being, the provider for the family. Now, we know in the recent years there has been a transition where we have, both both spouses, male and female, within families, both going to work, and if they have children, putting them in daycare and whatever. It's great with that feminine assistance with that, but still, in these cases, the families are really robbed of a life because they're caught up in the material things, but some things are a necessity. You need a home, you need a vehicle, and but with all of this, making money, and because of the control of money, it causes considerable stress. And this again is related back, this is, I know from the feminine, I know your valuable place, but for intents and purposes, we need to look at that male, the divine masculine, because we need to raise them up. Now, uh, anyone watching this, you go into your guides and whatever work you do to find ways that we can ease that suppression of the masculine so they can rise. So, be use your ingenuity and every gift that God has given you and that you have within you. And we need to begin to break these societal uh, restrictions, restraints upon the masculine, and that's what needs to be done. So this next level is we got to go in there uh, in whatever way that we can to start freeing up. What they need is they need the time and the space, be it to be alone or to be more with their families. So with this role, there's many suggestions, and I'm just generally going over this tonight. There are, lots to discuss on this area, but to give them that breathing space, we need to, the ideas are there to come up with these ideas and start being adamant and standing up, to take the patriarch at this time, the patriarch, the divine masculine part of the patriarch, to give them some relief. Now, there's so many ways to do that. Worldwide strikes, whatever it takes. But the control of money needs to be broken here. That is the thing. And, each one of many of you have been breaking it, to the extents that you could. But for this next big uprising, we need to liberate the divine masculine from the society and the construction of that. So we got quite a task with that, but not really when everyone, works together and support each one. We can raise that aspect up. And before, let us say, the feminine is going ahead, raising the vibration so that uh, it's easier to get at the divine masculine, to offer this perspectives and let them see. So this is what occurred, the feminine raised it up high enough, the vibration, so that the masculine, divine masculine began to awaken to the degrees, they start shaking their heads and come out of the slumber and realize that this is not life, that this is enslavement. But what they need to know is that they have choices. They need to know that you're out there. They need to know that We are out there together to change what is occurring here. So, uh, this it's going to take on a little bit of a masculine theme, and it needs to. But this does not stop the feminine from going further forward into unprecedented and unknown territory. Uh, so you have those of you, that will, you could say, holding space for the divine masculine, but we no longer can hold space. You need to raise them. You need to put more of an effort into raising them, whether it be on an individual basis, or whatever way that you may work in doing that. So again, we need to go deeper into how the masculine has been suppressed and enslaved, and we need to begin cutting those chains so they can rise in whatever ways that may be. Now, this is a lengthy subject and topic, but at this very time, it is, let me say, it is utmost important that it is looked at, and uh, relief in those areas began to be administered by us to release that tension. Um, so, having said that, there's also the emotional aspect of the masculine as well, which, there's been a lot of great work done in that area so far. And um, in the emotional area, there is still work always to do, to get such a level sustained here. But the biggest factor, what I see, is they need the time. We need to free the masculine up in whatever way so that they have time to think and start to go within. And I know that the masculine, a lot of them can very quickly get that inner work done, sufficient enough to allow the feminine to go further forward again. And the further the feminine go forward, it keeps raising the masculine up, that their work can be done, achieved quicker, and we keep raising up a lot quicker with this. Um, so some of the things what you may need to do with alleviating uh, the change from the divine masculine is going against orthodox society, going against human logic and human rationale, and just making leaps with things, whatever you need to do. One of the greatest ways of liberty uh, for the masculine, even, in a family situation with a spouse and children, is, get out of the material things. Give up. If you got a house or whatever, and it's worth money, get perhaps just get rid of it. If you got enough money, uh, be a vagabond, get an RV or something, something cheap and sustainable, and get that break away from society, get away from the conditioning. If you stay within uh, the routine 9 to 5 job, the masculine does not get that break. He's working all day. Then for his relaxation, sometimes he'll go to drugs, resort to drugs, alcohol, and then the thought is never really on going within to advance himself, because then he goes to sleep to get up to go to work another day. So you know how it is in that respect. So again, um, we need to begin working on those areas, but showing the ways to escape it, showing the masculine and presenting it to them, the ways to escape, but not only showing them the ways to break those chains, but showing them that there are other choices out here, that there is an ascension going on, that there are many that have come in their divine prowess, and there is so much good magic going on. And it's also, essentially just saying, hey, you have a choice. stay here being a robot and being a slave, or join the others that is rapidly growing to break this for all of humanity? Like, do you want your children growing up to be enslaved by the control of money? No, the choice is here now to join with all of the others, the masses, at breaking free of this. So these things are so very important. It's great if governments will start to go towards that, and let's say take away the control of money by uh, by eliminating a wealth disparity or a wage disparity. There's so many efforts that they could have did, but they did not do it, and they had lots of times to do this. But the problem is, it's with the money. For um, the upper classes and the elitists, it's great. Yeah, they do whatever they want. But also, when they're at, for the most part, the elitists, when they're at them levels, they're not ascending because they're caught into comfort zones where they don't have any reason to try to change. They love it. And, with some of them, if they got triggered out of it and lost everything, then they shake their heads and wake up. But the biggest thing is what we have is, one thing you may like to look at in the scriptures, what was said. And I never read the Bible, but we do know that there are some truths in there with it. And one thing, I love that I see, because it is happening: the meek inherit the earth. And but what it is the meek are usually down into the lower classes. So we need to do many things in this area, and the unity and everyone together, and every little thing that you do helps. Gee, like just even seeing a man that's tired working and just telling him he's loved or whatever. He may stop and look and say, "What's going on?" Someone says they love me. There's got to be something more to this. So sometimes what you might think is the most minute or trivial thing, it can change their life, in a very short moment. So, and so there was a lot. This, as I put a post out earlier, it is a very arduous journey, but I'm here to tell you we do get through it, and our work is not in vain. And every day, with everyone, you do see advancements, you see the magic, these things are true. Now, it was great, and it is great to get, the RV integrated, to get the QFS, DFS. These are very real and tangible things. However, because of some current circumstances and things, the RV is just taking a little bit of a back seat again. However, we do see it's very close. I'm told it's imminent. um, I'm told I'll be on that timeline, and I believe that, and I feel it, and I know that timeline is already there, and I know that we can reach it. The thing is, I don't have a time on it, and I don't have a date, but I know it is close. And we've seen that through energetics recently. Like, we had it right down to perhaps a day. It was going to happen the next day. We had it very close, and then it kind of like slipped away again, because it's based on energetics, and those of you involved in it, you know that. So eventually, and we do get there with that, but that's not the only thing. Again, what it does, it requires all of you strong ones and all of us being together and creating the energetic fields to bring this into creation. We are creators, and we can manifest, and you're being given back your divine prowess to accommodate these sort of things. But it takes the unity of all of us to do that. And when we have everyone in harmony and higher vibration, the magic occurs very rapidly and very powerfully. And there's nothing that can stop that. You know, it is ordained, and it is occurring, but the speed of it does depend on you. And keeping your vibration highest, you know, doing your inner work, not projecting out fear or negativity. We're cleaning up the energies with love and positivity. And what that does, it excites the air for the magic. But once you go into fear and negativity and these sort of things, well, you're projecting that outward into the reality, and it creates a density, and it lowers the overall vibration. And this is why it's so important for all of us, every one of you, to do that inner work. The more that you get that inner work complete, the stronger you become, and the more you step into your prowess. Might be time to quit, huh? Oh well. So where were we? I couldn't get my cigarette lit. Well,